Thanks for the invitation to present today. So I was here in the last meetup and I was quite keen to present because Scotland's got quite a good wealth of IoT technologies at the moment, and what we're doing within KFM is sort of utilising that wealth of knowledge and those technologies and bring them into our international partner network and our international client network. So what I wanted to do today is just give you a brief overview of what I'm doing in KFM and what KFM does in the facilities management industry. What I wanted to do to start with is just define what facilities management is, because it probably means different things to different people. We're lucky to have our CEO, who's the chair of the new ISO FM standards. So I'll be wrong not to use that standard definition to define FM for you. So really what we're doing within FM is looking after the people and place and processes within the built environment. And specifically what KFM does is a mixture of service delivery into buildings such as this and other large clients' portfolios. And what we do is we manage the maintenance and the upkeep of those buildings through using local supply chain. And so my role within KFM has really been to bring along technology and IoT into that sort of space. So there's been a shift in tides over the last 2 years as this technology is becoming cheaper and more prevalent. Hopefully, by the end of this presentation, you can see how you can maybe have an input into what we're doing in our international clients. KFM started in 1990, so a good long time ago. We were the first FM consultancy in the UK, and we're based at our office in Doon, just outside Dunblane, and we're building a new head office at the moment, but we've got clients across 21 countries, over 100 staff. It's all built around this engine that's in Doon, and we're utilising technology to manage these contracts. So we've got diverse experience across a wealth of different clients. We tend to specialise in those kind of hard-to-get countries like Lebanon, Saudi Arabia, Tunisia and Egypt. So those countries that the big FM players can't really easily get into. So really what we do at Key is we work closely with our clients. We act almost like an outsourced innovation unit. So we're bringing along technologies that they really don't have the headspace to comprehend, but it's delivering them ROI in terms of energy savings or resource savings. We build a close relationship with these clients over a period of time, which gives us really unique access into the way that they work, and a much easier job for us to then bring technology into those companies, and they can see some really radical results. These companies have, up until this point, been quite scared of IoT because it's been quite a complex product mix to get involved with, but the cost of these devices are almost down to pennies, so it's quite a unique position for us at the moment to implement these technologies very rapidly, show the results in a pilot study, and roll it across the rest of their portfolio. So here's kind of a peek behind the scenes of how we're kind of doing this. So a snapshot of how we've brought all these technologies together over the last couple of years in a practical way. We have CAFAM. CAFAM stands for Computer-Aided Facilities Management, and it's a bread and butter task management solution for facilities managers. So it tells them what needs to be maintained within the building, whether that be a reactive thing, there's been a leak somewhere, or there's a proactive kind of piece of work which is set by law, so you must maintain your HVAC systems multiple times a year, for example. So that CAFAM system we've developed is pinning everything else together. It all hinges around this central platform that we've developed because that's the language that the FM guys speak. This is the report level and the business intelligence that gets surfaced to the end users managers, for example. Our HVAC solution detects when an air conditioning unit on a roof fires up, cooling the air before it's been taken in. So we put this into a large global brand in Saudi Arabia, and within day one, we were able to save 35% energy on that one unit. So huge savings for this particular client. Intelligent lighting, one site we're able to save 25% energy just by installing LED lights. But we can also control those lights remotely as well, detect when people are in the buildings. But what we're doing is we're taking it beyond that. For example, we have a sensor in the office which is disaggregating the kilowatt hour consumption. So it's doing 2,000 sensors a second, and it's telling us how much energy each of the assets is pulling. So you imagine that you have a large production facility with huge machines, and your electricity bill is like maybe £10,000 a day. If you accidentally leave on a machine for even just an hour or so, that's going to have an implication on cost. So what the disaggregation sensor is doing is it's telling you which assets are drawing how much power. Simple stuff, but for these guys with multiple buildings and huge portfolios, this is big savings for them. We then have zone-specific IoT solutions. So these were our first kind of generation temperature sensors, quite clumsy. It uses a SIM gateway, so not much range, and it's telling us how hot it is in a server room, for example. We've since migrated to this solution here, which is giving us humidity and motion as well. All this information is giving the facilities managers action points. So, for example, if this sensor detects it's too hot in the server room, it sends them an SMS straight away to let them take action. We first started putting IoT into these companies in 2016. We didn't know what to do, first of all, so we put 140 sensors into a site in Greece and just sat back for a year and collected the data and started to understand how to use it. And that's led us to where we are at the moment. We've got utilization analysis. So this device is actually developed in Edinburgh. It's a multi-sensor device, but interestingly, it's got a camera lens on it as well. So it's able to give us feedback in terms of occupancy. So up until this point in time, we've been using PIR sensors, but they're quite hit and miss in terms of giving us an accurate count of people within a room. But this has a 60-meter radius, and we put it on the ceilings in these kind of blue spots. You can see here. It can give us, it's an edge product, so it's doing all the algorithmic work on the edge. So it's able to tell us how many people are in a given space, and we can map, so we can tell it to avoid windows and other kind of passageways. So this is what FM's been waiting for, because up until now, we can pick up things like temperature, humidity, VOC, dust particulates, lux, all these kind of things that give you the kind of atmospheric conditions, but we've not been able to marry that successfully with occupancy, and with this sort of sensor we can. And we actually got something else that's coming along that can do it on the MAC address of a mobile phone as well, so we can give real-time pathways of how people are shopping, for example. Status utilization, this is just moving on at such a pace that we've got a sensor here that's telling us a productivity score of this room. So at the moment it's just dropped to 83% because I got too close, but it's telling us how hot the room is, the humidity levels, the dust particulates, and the setting at the moment is on to productivity. So at the moment it's rating this room at 83%. And this is a really interesting solution that we put into our office, and we could see over time the staff members were reacting to the score, and so the score got below sort of 76%, they're opening windows, and it was increasing the air quality. So we're getting into a space within FM where the end users can now start to kind of make meaningful action using IoT without the need of having an integrator alongside them. We're moving beyond sort of the simple solutions, and what we're trying to do is take it up a level, but bring the client along for the ride as well. Because